Hey all, Hyuga here. Today we're looking at what I consider one of the only so-called pay-to-win ships in the game, and it is the tier 5 Japanese battleship, the Hyuga. So let's just look at my build here, and this is like pretty bog standard build here, I think. Takagi, fully leveled with Cunningham and Scharnhorst, and then all the, precision perks here. So this is like a super traditional Japanese battleship build, nothing out of the ordinary at all. Aiming systems and propulsion mod. So this ship, well, like I said in the beginning, I consider it one of the only true pay-to-win ships in the game. To put that into perspective and kind of explain what I mean by that is that this is a tier 5 battleship, okay? But I've been doing some calculations on my personal stats here using the extract you can do online, and actually a Hyuga outperforms my Yamato, and that's a legendary battleship, in pretty much everything really. Damage, they are almost equal at just over 100,000 average damage, but again this is a tier 5 against a legendary battleship. So like at least for me playing this ship here at tier 5, it's just a lot of fun because it's just so overpowered. I mean, no one else really stands a chance against this ship here at tier 5, and even if you get down tiered and you're playing against tier 6s, it doesn't matter at all, because I think this ship could hold its own at tier 7 really. So, like, if you play the tech tree, you get access to the Fuso, which is, a Hyuga, more or less, except it's less accurate, and you don't get the reload boost. And there seems to be a few other things separating the ships, but not really anything that I can put my finger on without, like, the actual super detailed game source code. But I can just say that Hyuga is just so much better than Fuso, and it's so much better than any other tier 5 battleship. And I mean, that is confirmed by Wargaming itself, that Hyuga is in the top 3 tier 5 battleships, and when they say the top 3, I'm pretty sure they mean that it's the best tier 5. I will do some more, digging into the statistics on this ship here at a later point, because I just think it's so much fun that a tier 5 can be so much better than pretty much any of my other battleships, really. Now, my own personal theory here is that since cruisers are so easy to dispose of down here at tier 5, like, cruisers don't stand a chance. They're just cannon fodder for battleships at this tier here, and makes them, not very fun to play, to be honest. But compared to tier 7, tier 8 legendary tier, where cruisers actually can put up a fight and out DPM battleships very, very easily. Down here, I mean, even if you play an AT spammer behind an island, it's rare that you'll actually be able to be a real threat. Even something like Dallas is probably the best AT spammer, I guess. Like a good battleship player will just, use the heals and, sail up and just, citadel everything out of that ship. And it's really only if you get if everyone targets you, or you happen to be unlucky and, catch a whole broadside of torpedoes or something like that, that you will have a problem in Hyuga. If you just play the ship, just a little bit carefully, like I'm doing in this battle here, you can just pick the ships up one by one, and sometimes it's only 1 or 2 salvos, and you don't really have anything to fear, really, because this is the best battleship. If it's down to one other battleship and yourself, if you play smart, you'll always win. And if it's down to yourself and a cruiser, well, you'll always win. And a destroyer can go either way, but in most cases, you'll have a pretty good chance of taking out the destroyer in this ship here. At least a better chance than any other battleships, really. I don't know if there's any tier 5 battleships with sonar, actually. I don't think there is, but of course they would probably stand a better chance against the destroyer. But I can't really remember that. Correct me in the comments if you can think of one. It's especially interesting that in the experience department, You know, like the pure base experience, what is called original EXP in the Excel extract you can do. My Hyuga is actually also outperforming the Yamato. And that's pretty exceptional considering that you make a lot more XP at the legendary tier than you do at tier 5. And I don't know why that is, other than the fact that Hyuga is just such a good ship that you know, you're just gonna make lots of XP in the ship here, I guess, because unlike Yamato, you don't have to fear any Clevelands, or you know, like there's lots of powerful cruisers up at the higher tiers. But like I said in the beginning, down here, yeah, not so much. So I consider this ship here. I'd say it's a pay-to-win ship. I think it is, because if you buy this ship here, you will have a much better chance at doing well than anybody else in the game, because it's just so powerful, and you have reload boosts on your battleship at tier 5. And as you'll see in a moment here, you can just absolutely delete ships with this ship here. You can with all battleships, but you have, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turrets here. That's 12 shells, and it's remarkably accurate, this ship here. So yeah, well, if that's your thing, if you want to buy a premium ship because you want to whoop everybody else's behind, well, this is the one. And the only one that really comes close is Weimar, and especially when it was back at tier 6, that was just well, that was absurd. Let's all agree on that. Now it's at tier 7, but still it's punching above its weight. So of course you cannot buy that ship anymore, so it's kind of like a worthless point here. So that really makes Hyuga the only true pay-to-win ships in World of Warships Legends. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this ship getting a nerf very, very soon. Because, I mean, if everybody else has the same results that I do in this ship here, then I think it'll stand out in Prince Blip's Excel sheet at some point, and they might think about nerfing it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know when. I have no idea, and I don't know if either. I mean, I don't know. I could just be lucky, I guess, but yeah, I doubt it compared to like what I hear from the other CCs, and of course also players out there, that this is like the top battleship at tier 5. So hurry out and buy it. There's really nothing else I can say. There's very few premium ships in this game that I recommend people buy, and most of them, like if any of them, like most of them are campaign ships which you cannot just go out and buy anyway. Like for example Republic. Even if you wanted to buy that today, you can't. But Hyuga is just for sale, and anyone can buy it, just like Weimar was. So I mean, yeah, it's a sure thing. If you buy the ship here, you will perform better. It's just so good. But again, just keep in mind that, in my opinion, this ship here is a prime candidate, and there goes my Kraken, unfortunate. This ship is a prime candidate for a nerf at some point in the future. So just be, you know, aware of that before you fork out the 10,000 doubloons or whatever the ship costs here. Because, I mean, I find it unlikely that it's going to stay in the game in this current setup here. Of course, I don't know, but I would think so. Another thing that helps Hyuga perform down here is that you will only run into tier 5 carriers. You will not run into tier 7 carriers, like for example Yamato will on occasion, and also legendary carriers now. They've started to, you know, be present in the matches as well. So I mean, that's a huge thing, because you don't have Pobeda that can just devastate you, or the German tier 7 as well with the AP bombs. You don't have that. You don't have to worry about it. And you might take a torpedo here and there, but see, like it's like 1,000 damage or something. It's completely nothing to even worry about. So Hyuga, it's an incredibly powerful premium sitting at what is probably the sweetest spot it could possibly sit in. I mean, tier 5 is where you usually get the best gameplay, at least on occasion, and it's also the tier where you get to, you know, sometimes, if you're lucky, get matched up against ships like Omaha and, you know, all the cruisers that are just floating citadels waiting to be removed by the AP shells on this ship here, or any other battleship for that matter. And yeah, well, if you can take advantage of that, and you know, you can stack up the damage like very quickly and up into very high numbers. I mean, 180, 190, 200 plus is not unusual in this ship here. And at tier 5, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot. And you will get high caliber in every game, almost every game, along with a Confederate in most games. So that'll add up to your XP as well. And if you do a lot of like defending, like I've done here, and like a few kills, and I didn't get any caps. It's a bit of a actually a problem here, because when you'll see the final XP here, we'll have more than 3,200 XP here. So a cap, like maybe even 2 caps, and we got a dreadnought there in the last second as well. That would have upped it to probably almost 4,000. So that's the end of the battle, and we did 190,000 damage. High caliber Confederate dreadnought at tier 5 at 3,300 XP at tier 5. So yeah, pay to win ship. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.